I think women like being viewed in like the best way that they can be. So if they do have the opportunity to get a job and to excel in that career, why would she care about that kid that just cries all the time?
The Sapiosexual Platter.
We have come to a place where there is confusion between resource and upbringing. Often at times, parents think just because they have money or they have ample resources, that is parenting done. But the quality of human beings and adults that we're churning out, we complain about the quality. We say, oh my God, what's happening with the youth? Oh my God, people can't emotionally regulate themselves. If that's the case, then we have to go to what is actually taking place and why are people turning out in the quality that we don't like. My name is Belle Saabo Ame.
I am Shatani Somalagai.
Welcome to the Sapiosexual Platter. Boop, 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 boop.
On today's episode, we're joined by a personal favorite here at Kwaso. His name is Mali Matambo. He is a student at Botswana Accountancy College studying accounting and finance, a creative, and of course, a sapiosexual, an intern at Kwaso. And he prides himself in nurturing and helping bring up his 3 siblings. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Marley Matambo.
Big morning.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Marley.
Hi.
Oh my gosh.
Finally on the other side of the camera.
I know. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I'm excited for today's episode.
Yeah.
And to shoot with like the best YouTubers in the country. Actually,
Amen.
podcasters in the country.
Amen.
Thank
In
you.
the world.
This is why
Yeah.
we like him, guys. Flattery will get you everywhere.
Your skin looks nice.
Thank you so much.
Yes, guys. First of all, you know you're so like physically talented. You know I always tell you that.
Yes, I've been told.
I mean, like,
Talented.
yeah, I mean, I just think like your
Yeah, he is.
jeans and like your hair texture, like, guys, it's not a wig, like it's his real hair.
Yeah.
And his skin is like always like it's always this like perfect texture.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And
and
the
your style, of
complexion.
course, as well.
Thank you.
In addition to that, just your being and your presence and your energy, and this is why we love you here.
Yeah.
Appreciate
And
that so
yeah,
much.
so-
Thank you.
And you're extremely wise. You're extremely wise. That's why we have you here today, because I always learn so much every single time I talk to you. And it's exciting because you are so young. Like, you're possibly the youngest person we've had on the pod now as a
Yeah,
guest.
I think
Yeah. Be youngest, you can claim that title. So yes, our topic for today. What did you think about it when you were invited?
When I first got the invite, I was excited because it's something that resonates with me, something that I'm passionate about, and something that I think if we pay more attention to it, positive change will come out of it, which is something that I think we need more positivity on earth right now.
Yeah.
What do you think about the status quo of people currently? Because it's like adults will complain, or hey, man, mama, let's sing hey, you know, but and then it's just like, okay, you complain that children or new adults are not respectful,
Gen Zs.
or they don't want to work, and your generation gets a lot of heat, from our generations and the previous ones. And then it's like, okay, if you're complaining about the status quo of the adults that are turning out, you raised them.
True.
So if you're going to complain about how they are, complain about how you got them there, because they didn't arrive there by themselves. Where, as a young person, and you observing society in your wisdom, do you think we've gotten it wrong? Or they've gotten it wrong, or we're getting it wrong as a society?
Well, like you did say, I think everything stems from childhood because childhood is a very important part of a human's life, especially the formative years, which is 0 to 7, because that's when the brain is developing the most, I believe.
Yeah.
So I think if that's the beginning of your path and you didn't really start right, well, obviously in the long run, there are going to be challenges because of the foundation. I'd say, yeah, we get it wrong in the foundation, especially when it comes to how humans just operate on a natural, just our day-to-day habits. Yeah, I think that's where we mess it up.
Yeah. And the upbringing, 0 to 7 years. What do you think, like, parents are doing or not doing that then messes up the foundation of a human being in those years?
We're growing up in a world where there's a lot of stimulation, a lot of stress. So those things end up hindering the potential of how good a parent could be. Because there's like societal pressure, economic pressure, pressure at work as well. Like all those things actually, they reduce how much you can output. So those things contribute to how much effort you can actually put into raising a child.
Wow. Case in point, that wisdom. Because I would have already started attacking parents. I honestly would have just started saying the problem is you don't do this or you don't do that. But just the fact that you started us on that tone of like empathy to say there obviously is an ideal way that most of us would like to raise our kids.
True.
There is a way that we would ideally want to show up. But we live in a world where even if you wanted that for yourself, it's not actually practically possible.
True.
If you're a single mom without resources, obviously you have to work, which then impedes on the amount of time you can spend with your child.
That's true.
Yeah. First and foremost, there's just a challenge to parenting.
Yes. And of recent years, I think it's getting even worse compared to, let's say, 50 years ago, where less women were in the, let me talk about my country, but less women were, I believe, were not working. They had more time to contribute to the households. Fathers as well, I'm sure they had less societal pressure of, I don't know, performance or just material wealth or gain. So I think the pressures that they reduce how much you can be the parent that you wish or you see yourself as.
So let's just bring it home real quick with your generation. As you can tell, like there's a disparity between the baby bloomers, the millennials, and you, the Gen Z. And there's always like sort of like an invisible war that's taken place where we make a lot of accusations about, oh, you people, like you're a little bit impatient or you don't apply yourselves. And then I think the current pandemic that's also just taken place is the rise in the use of drugs with your generation. Where are we getting it wrong? What is so different about you guys and your way of living or your upbringing that was different from us? And how do we also just bring them together?
Gosh. You guys are going to hate what I'm going to say, but I think we're just more, like, we're more woke. We're more snappy.
Yeah.
So obviously when it's like that, there's more they just like, you understand things more quicker. There's just things that would matter in adulthood are now starting to get into,
Teenagers?
yeah,
Yeah.
where it's just like the things that you think are achievable or the things that we want, we want them at a time when that's not really the time for them. So that's why
That's the difference.
no, I don't think it's the difference. Also, I do think that people have it, like the older people, number 1K, they have it confused that their life is somewhat easier than ours. Like we have it easier, we have technology, people have cars at home, we have a lot of people have got house help. So I think we have gotten to a point where we don't have to really do like more manual labor, I would say. So that's where people would think that we're getting it where like
It's easier for you guys.
yeah.
Would you say it's harder though?
I think mentally, because we're developing more in the mind. So I think it's more of like a mental difference that has happened through the technology and just things changing so quickly.
But if you guys are like adultifying, from what I'm understanding, so quick, like, and things that you would ordinarily come to an awareness and an understanding of in like maybe your late 20s or early 30s, and you guys get them quicker. Because I'm always so surprised about the things, like I was at your school the other day with the students, and they're already talking about shadow work, and I'm like, yo, do you know how old we were when we knew shadow work?
How admirable.
Yeah,
Good for you guys.
shadow work and different psychological terms. So like I agree with you when you say, and it was quite enlightening when you said like there's like a fast forward in you guys' mental
Yeah.
development.
Yeah.
Whereas for us it came at a later stage, and maybe because our generation got access to the internet in our formed years,
Yeah.
whereas you guys are getting it earlier on, so you're getting access to all this information and this knowledge faster than we did.
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting, but I'm like, notwithstanding that you guys have access to all this information, why is it that you're like the younger generation feels a bit more isolated?
I read somewhere that we're becoming more disconnected from ourselves, disconnected from the world. And that's because of how much attention we give to a world that doesn't really exist, which I think social media.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Social media has a lot of subconscious things that it does to you if you're not using it right. It'll just get you into a thought pattern and a way of thinking, and it's most probably going to be negative in the long run. I think people that are not aware that some of these things are filtered, curated, and are perfect, and we think that, oh no, that's just someone's life and their life is perfect and I want that too. But that's not really the case. Like there's a lot of things that happen behind the post.
Powerful. I agree. 100%. What are your thoughts on?
Girl, bye. Are you even part of this conversation?
I am part of the conversation.
I've just been asking questions and then you're like, yeah, what are your thoughts?
No, I've been asking questions
I've
too.
been talking, Shata. You want to hear you. What do you think?
What do I think about
Yeah.
the difference? I mean, the topic obviously is like the emphasis on resources versus presence.
Yeah.
And I think everything that he said really points to that there is ample resources.
Yeah.
And there is a projection of, because you have these resources, you ought to be a certain way. You certainly don't have the right to complain. You have the resources, right? And it's very interesting because obviously you look at yourself, like if you're in the generations above and you think, how did I get to where I am? It was a combination of resource and presence, but I would argue more presence. So it is the dissonance in expecting a different outcome when you haven't input the thing that made you who you are. So you are a combination of presence and resource. You'll give one person or the younger generation mostly resource, yet you expect, I don't know what they expect, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I just never get it. It's one of those things I don't get because I am often uncomfortable with the projection, and I can almost always immediately recognize, and I don't know, for me, it's one of those things where it's an obvious thing. Like, it doesn't require layered anything. I just see it. I just see the neglect.
Yeah.
And I also, when I think about my own upbringing, I think about the fact that my parents were very, if there's one thing that you could have faulted them on, was you are in my face. Gosh, you know what I mean? Like, there was a point where we were like, you know what, guys, you guys need to get a life. Like, you need to go somewhere, make friends. Like, you're always here. And because of that, we felt very cuddled. It had its own negative impact, but mostly positive. That you just felt their presence. And there was the longing for resources.
True.
There were times where you're like, oh, well, can we get like PlayStations and our neighbors have DSTV and da 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 da. When you're a child and you have the luxury of presence, you obviously long for the material things. Then you grow up and you realize, oh my gosh, thank God that they prioritized presence over materials. Because now I can get the materials and I'm realizing how replaceable they are. Also realizing how much they don't fill any kind of void.
Yeah.
And at any given point in time, I'm grateful for presence. So those are my thoughts on that, which
Powerful.
is why I certainly agree with you that it's unfortunate that there's such a projection on your generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about what she just said?
I like that she talked about presence, because I think we're living in a world where we're so unpresent. We're really not present of what's going on in our day-to-day lives, and we're not even present of ourselves. We're not even present of how we feel. People only know stress, and people are like, oh, I'm so stressed, but the whole time it's something else that you're not even going to be able to figure out unless you be present and you just go inside and you just try to understand yourself. So I think there also, the lack of presence, I agree with that. That it's causing the issues of what the older generations are seeing of the younger people.
Yeah.
Like the lack of presence.
Yeah.
It's quite wild because like this conversation was obviously inspired by the whole nurture versus provision topic, and it's more or less a continuation of that. But I remember that I was having a conversation with you, and it really, like, it was an aha moment where you were like, humanity or parents have gotten to a place where they think resource is parenting.
Yeah. Resources raise the child.
Yeah. They think resources raise the child.
Yeah.
And it's like, if we are now in a place where children have ample resources, but we're churning out lesser quality human beings in terms of human beings that we can look at and be like, we are proud, this is great. Instead, we judge, right? We judge the Gen Zs that, oh, they're like this, or that, they're like that. How do you think, to both of you, we arrive to this place where parents think resources can parent a child, or that giving resources is parenting?
It's easier. And as humans, we're going to do what's easier. We're going to take the short path. Sometimes taking the short path is going to actually take you to the longer path that you didn't see at the time. So I think that was just like, it's easier I can hire a nanny. I'd rather just do that than using my time. I could use my time to grow my business or just do your own personal things. So I think it's just easier to just get somebody else to do it.
Read us to filth. Yo, hey guys, I need to go and pick up my child because I left him with the nanny. Somebody to do my job. Read us to filth. That is so deep, man. That is so deep, and it hurts. Like, it really, really hurts. Like, it really hurts because your generation would have the latest iPhones, the latest cars, the best education.
That becomes your norm, by the way.
Expand that. What do you mean?
I mean, like, if that becomes your norm, you're going to become desensitized to it, to the point that those things don't really matter as much as I feel like they should. Like, if
Those things meaning what?
the material, like the newest, like the flashiest things.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you can get it and you can afford it, sure. But I'm saying it's going to get to a point where you're not going to feel that, oh, like, there's a new thing, like, which I feel like as a human is something that it's always nice to not always receive I don't know, like, it's nice to get something special and for it to feel special.
Yeah. But if you're just get resources, there's no earning them
They end up losing their meaning, I think.
and their value
Yeah.
because it just becomes nothing. So
Yeah.
it's like your parent is making all this effort to give you nothing in your perspective.
Yeah.
Because it's just watered down in value.
For some people.
Yes, for some people. And how do we move forward? How do we get humanity to a different place?
I just think we need to realize and just own up to just the mistakes that have happened in the past. And also we just need to start valuing things more. Because I think also we're just losing our sense of value in things. It's just like things don't matter anymore, and that's scary.
What do you mean by mistakes that we made in the past? Like owning up and fixing the mistakes that we made in the past. What mistakes did we make in the past?
I think maybe we got excited as humans. I mean, think about how it used to be long ago. I was not there, but I'm sure things were... There was just less in the world, I think. There was just less, and this abundance of all these new things, and we ended up forgetting how things used to feel like before, which I think was more holistic and more, holistic.
Oh, I feel so touched. Only because I feel like I mean, I'm not that old, but I feel like I have lived. Pebble. No, I'm saying I'm
joking,
not
yeah.
in his generation, and I just think about the distinction between how I did grow up and how life is right now. If I just think about how even just access to songs, because that's something that really matters to me. So when I was a kid, you would hear a song on radio, and you would wait for the next morning and cross your finger
To hear it again.
that, like, I hope they play Destiny's Child, Say My Name.
Yeah.
And that was about the only access you had to that song. Like, if your parents didn't buy the cassette or the CD, then you just couldn't listen to the song until you heard it on radio. And now, and then things started getting a little bit better and better and better. Now, you literally just Google, just go on YouTube, just go on iTunes, and then you have access to everything. So you're right, like, it just takes away the novelty and how special certain things can be and how certain things were valued, you know, like, it's crazy to me because I invested so much in CDs. Like, I have so many of them. And to think, like, now that's just like, that's so crazy. You have so many CDs when you can just, you know, subscribe to iTunes, like, what, $10 a month and have access to all the music in the world.
Yeah.
So it is like, I think sometimes maybe we just don't reflect on how different and how that difference is so, it's like worlds apart, that even when I listen to you and I think, oh, so you grew up in a world, or you were born into a world where you just,
Yeah.
there it is. So the idea of, oh, you waited for 2 days to hear your song?
Yeah.
It's just like
You can't even comprehend it.
yeah. So, like, what then, it begs the question, like, what brings you joy? Because for me, those are the things that brought us joy. Little things like that, where it's like, the Destiny Child song is on.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't even play the whole track because on radio they don't even they don't play the whole track. They go, yeah, and that's Destiny's Child. Say my name, and you're like, stop it. So like those are things that made you happy as a kid. So I'm like, what makes Gen Zs happy?
Parties and alcohol.
It's like, let's drown ourselves away. Let's make ourselves numb.
I
I guess that's also just you saying parties and alcohol just explains the culture of escapism that has come about. And actually, in preparation of this podcast, I actually just watched a clip and I resonated with it, and I wanted you guys to see it.
You are very well educated, majority of you, but you're not educated in life. You're not educated in relationships. Nobody is teaching you about feminine hygiene. Nobody is teaching you about fertility. Nobody is even teaching you about relationships. You just graduate from university and from there you must marry. But what are the qualifications for you to understand you being in a marriage where you are living with another human being? What are the qualifications? What is the groundwork? What is the schooling? You went to school to go and get an education. I promise you here and now, Mama Sita, that's not what's going to take you through life. The school of life. And so parents, we have to do better. Don't say you are embarrassed. Don't say that is for them to learn in school, because they learn the wrong things sometimes from the wrong people that are in the school. You have to teach your daughters, show your daughters sex education. They have to understand it. They have to understand what it feels like being pregnant, having a baby, and the aftermath of it. Let's not sugarcoat pregnancy and motherhood and say it's the best thing ever. Sometimes it can be extremely traumatic. I had my beautiful son Adrian, and that first trimester, my God, the morning sickness I had, I did not know whether I was coming or going. And when you come out the other end, who is there to support you? Why? Because your body completely has changed. Your body has grown another human being, and your hormones are through the roof. They now have to break down and regulate, and that can take maybe 2-3 years. You can be looking at your baby, and sometimes for those who have had postpartum depression, you now realize perhaps this is not what you wanted. That you are now responsible for this little baby. I don't want to do it. Then your milk ducts perhaps could be blocked. Then you don't know what kind of birthing experience you had. You might tear, yes, all the way to number 2. Yes, you just might do that. You might have a C-section like I did. You might have a natural birth, and you will not believe how your honey pot has expanded into a full-on bucket. You will not know that. Nobody is telling you that. Nobody is telling you that you now have become a mother and you look at your body and you have stretch marks. Where did this come from? I used to wear small waisted jeans. Talking about waist, the waist is no longer what it used to be. You're at home, you're crying, hey, God, oh, which kind of thing be this one now? It be like say my marriage don't nakake leg, because we as mothers are not teaching you.
Sure. Didn't she tell the truth?
What stuck out to you the most?
The truth of it, which I've always believed, which there are areas in my life where I do feel that, where I'm like, there was almost like, I don't know, just this blind expectation that you would just know,
Yeah.
and then enter real life or the big world, and you realize, I actually don't have an education on this issue. And I'm trying to think back, was there ever a conversation? Was there ever something said at church? Oh my gosh, I know 0.0.0 about this stuff. Even childbirth.
Yeah.
'Cause my sister's a doctor, and all the things she's talking about, like tearing. The first time I found out was when my sister, post medical school, is telling me like about her experiences delivering children at the hospital as part of her training and what that entails.
Yeah.
And I remember just crawling like into a corner. Like, what do you mean they tear you? What does that mean? Like, I was like, But then a part of me was like, wow, I think I must have been maybe 26, 27 at the time. And it's like, wow, that's wild that you don't know that
Yeah.
as a 26-year-old woman. Like, what's happening or what could happen to you during childbirth and the whole process.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, because this assumption is you're going to have your child, and you're going to go to the hospital and da-da-da-da. So, but it did kind of shift my mind a bit around like, wow, there's lots of things where, because we're so focused on academia and that's important and that's what we place so much reverence and appreciation and status, accord so much status to, that just the little things that we just take for granted, but that add to quality of life, texture of life, and just general life experiences.
And they add to the big things as well, because you'd find that people would be successful at their careers but very terrible at marriage. And I loved what she said, where she's like, where's the qualification for marriage? You graduate and you've never worked on your personal development. You've never understood relationship. You've never understood the interaction between people in a relationship and what happens, or just the science of it.
Yeah.
And then you just deep dive and you go and get this qualification, which is the marriage certificate, without earning it, and earning it by preparation.
Yeah.
And I thought what she said, what was so powerful, was like, mothers, we need to do better.
Yeah.
And back to our conversation that we're in a world where it's prioritized provision over nurturing. And I had this conversation with you, Mali. And then you said something interesting when we're having a conversation about careers and mothers and women. It's just yesterday.
Well, please remind me.
When you're like, oh, you feel like women should have never ever entered the workforce.
I think, especially in Africa, women are just so important and mothers are just so important that you can't even measure their importance. Like, they're necessary. And work life has kind of like destroyed that. I think a woman getting into the workspace and just it being consumed, them women being consumed by the work culture, it definitely messed up a lot of things. I believe so. Because I think people started focusing on just like the cover of the book and not like the actual inside of the book. Like, what can we do to make people think that our lives are okay? Like, it's just like we're all about the
Facade.
yeah, that's the
Yo.
world that we're living in. It's all about the facade and how the other person views it.
Than how you actually view it yourself.
So, and women like, I think women like being viewed in like the best way that they can be. So if they do have the opportunity to get a job and to excel in that career, why would she care about that kid that just cries all the time? Because if she doesn't take the effort to connect with that child, it's just gonna be wanayo.
It's just extremely scary where we're headed to. And it's like, you know, for us to arrive here, women were fighting for a level of equality. Women were fighting for freedom
Yeah.
and their independence. And it's like, in the way that we fought as women, we became men.
Yep.
And that has imbalanced, you know, our hormones. We've got fibroids these days. We've got infertility issues. And it's just the deep stress that has taken place on the woman's body over time, just living in a frame that does not allow for her to be at her healthiest.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah.
It's tough.
It's very tough.
I think for me, the biggest one was on emotional regulation. Because that's something that I personally struggled with for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what it was. Like, there
Yeah.
was no name for it. But when I finally understood it, I was like, oh my gosh. Like,
Yeah.
this is interesting how attachment is formed and how it's so necessary for how you end up regulating as a human being.
Yeah.
Because the way that people will just say, calm down,
Yeah. This little line.
you know, in your adult life, and you have palpitations and anxiety, and you just don't have that ability to internally just, and sometimes you act. For a long time I acted it. If I tell you what's happening internally, people just wouldn't believe me. But if you know me, you know that inside it's just explosions. It's you're just kind of going all over the place, and you just realize that like attachment is formed early on in your life, and it's a thing that can only be done when there is intense presence, intention, and not just like presence in the form of you're here, I'm here, but the touch also is necessary, the words of affirmation, eye contact, the things that chimpanzees, like the things that why is everybody laughing? I think it's such a serious point here. It's so serious. No, but you really just have to watch.
No, it's an accurate point. It's just that we did not agree in that direction.
No, but like you have to watch. I mean, one thing, guys, I went to go see the gorillas in Rwanda one time, okay? You just have to watch them.
Things that chimpanzees do. The things that chimpanzees and
They're the
gorillas
closest
do.
primates to us.
But I understand
You
what
just
she's
have to
saying.
watch.
I just didn't expect it.
Are we still laughing about this?
We let her was. It's okay. I wish people could see him right now.
No, you watch them and the things that they do. I just think, oh, those are just animals.
Yeah.
But like literally in the first 3 years of a child's life, it almost has to replicate that closeness, and that is when attachment is actually formed.
Yeah.
So for me, it's always scary now. It's one of those, that kind of knowledge where once you know it, it's hard to see life any different. When like somebody's born and then 3 months later they're living with, their grandmother somewhere, and you're just like, oh my God, you're supposed to be like this. And or you're going to work and now they have the nanny, and it's like that closeness is necessary even to like form certain parts of their brain and to connect things that they need that closeness. And we've gone to a world that like the world kind of shuns expression of emotion. Like if you express that this is how you're feeling or this is what you would want in a relationship, it's like you're being so unreasonable and you want too much, and it's like, no, I'm a human being. It is to be human, is to touch, is to feel, is to connect. That is the essence of being a human. I think everything else is kind of supplementary and additional, but I think at the very least we need to be sitting together and there needs to be like a connection that is formed between us, and that feeling brings about a sense of belonging, which is also required for humanity, for us to thrive. When you feel like you belong, love, protection, and all those like essential elements that we just now for some reason we've taken and swept under the rug and decided, well, that's not important. Anyway, I think I said a mouthful, but
No,
You said it like,
wow.
it's wild. That's all I can say.
You know what? Like, when I just look back at how we arrived here and how women we fought to have, like, economical equality with men, it's like, I feel like the status of things, it's an outcry because this nurturing of humanity ended up being deemed as something that wasn't that respectable, as you said.
Yeah, less than.
And it's like, in this outcry, as society, we've made this decision together to get here. How can then women refight this battle but in a different way? And how can we just heal ourselves? Like, how can we restore? Yeah, how can we restore, man?
I think I love what you said about how important moms or mothers are,
Yeah.
or that function is.
Yeah.
And I think I don't think women are reminded enough of how important they are in their capacity as the feminine.
Yeah, but it's crazy because you would give birth and after 3 months, your in-laws are asking you like, oh, how's work? Your friends are asking you, oh, how's work? What are you doing for money?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, if that's the status quo and that's what people end up putting a pressure on, nobody ever puts you a pressure that stay at home with your child and take care of your child.
Yeah.
Everybody, I've given birth and I'm yet to find one person who's ever said, what, you want to count yourself in?
For sure.
Oh, please.
Don't
You're
at
balanced.
me.
You're balanced.
Thank you.
You're balanced.
Thank you. Because I actually I'm not on the extreme end, that's for sure.
No, you're balanced.
Thank you.
But I haven't heard anybody who has 100% just said, just be a mom. Everybody's out, okay, how's your career? People are more concerned like, oh, how's work going? How is this going? And it's like, wow, this is really warped. And I don't know, I feel like the state of, the different outcries, the Me Too movement, men are trash, is like a deep outcry of this imbalance that women are in, where they're expected to still nurture, still provide. And it's like seeing how men don't have the same expectancy as we do, and how things then end up playing out different for us. So in this outburst, we don't know what it is, but we end up just being like, man are trash, me too.
Yeah.
It feels like a collective subconscious of women.
Just frustrated.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel it. I definitely feel it. I just think it's wild that you even have to be careful around, even if you're dating, whether you will say, in Shatani in herself, like the day I have a baby,
Yeah.
I'm not going to work and you're going to be expected to do everything.
Yeah.
It's almost like, are you mad? Like, why would you say that? Of course, we're coming in 50-50 and making a contribution. And it's sad that even that posture is almost viewed as very spoiled, bratty, almost like, what do you mean you're going to stay home? Stay home and do what?
Yeah.
And then so you kind of have to be careful your language when you speak into different people. And you see how a lot of mothers are even unable to advocate for themselves. It's almost like a shame point. To say, I would rather just stay at home. I've read so many articles and so many stories online of women who there was a point where work just wasn't, like they just lost the zest and the passion for work. And their desire was to just be at home. And even just that desire is what broke the marriage apart or broke the relationship apart. Because for real, the man did not prepare in his mind that at some point this mothering process might actually lead to a fundamental change in the woman where she wouldn't want life to be structured the way that it was initially prior to the child.
I think even just outside of that, I find what you're saying powerful. Like, in addition and outside of that, it's like what I've come to observe, and I think I came to the awareness this week actually, was that when you have a baby, your psychology changes, whether you like it or not. So even if I still have the same ambitions and the desires for my career as I had before. But unfortunately, I'm in mommy brain.
Yeah.
And it's like, no matter how, even if I give myself a task that today you're going to achieve what, the hormones in me and my physiology has shifted to focus on nurturing the child. So my output...
To be like the chimpanzee?
Yeah, my output, even if my child was to go away for 2 days and it's like, now you have all this free time, do as much work as you want. I was now able to finally understand mommy brain, because mommy brain is your paradigms right now. Understand that your status quo is the chimpanzee. So therefore, your status quo is having a baby. So therefore, your subconscious mind, the deeper parts of your subconscious mind have activated to parent, not to work. So, and then I think about myself, I'm like, I have the privilege of freedom and I'm grateful for it. But the mother who works in the office and is judging herself that, oh my God, I used to be a beast. I'm not a beast anymore. And then it's just like, yeah, you have the same skills, you still have the same capacity, but unfortunately your brain has rewired itself. And there is absolutely not much you can do about it.
And there's nothing wrong with it either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me also, what is also scary is that the village has disappeared.
Oof, that one you need to talk about.
The village is gone.
Yeah.
Because when you were saying that, a woman would give birth and give the child to the grandmother, I found that okay, because I'm like, the comfort of a grandmother is that she's still in the physiological lineage.
Yeah.
So they would have the same comfort as a mom because it's still within the same lineage. Whereas a nanny, this perfect stranger, it can never register the same. And then now with the rise of technology and social media and the rise of being able to provide all these resources, it's like children then stay with the resources or they're parented by the resources and the village community is not there. And I'll speak for myself even. I always feel alone. I won't lie. No, it's the truth. I always feel alone. I'm like, my friends are not there. My mother is not there. My aunts are not there because everybody is busy with their career.
Yeah.
So I end up raising my child in isolation because the village is chasing this resource thing. And then I'm like, yo, at the end of your life, when we write in your eulogy, we never write how many millions you made.
At all.
They never say, oh, she made 500 billion, 500 million. They write about who your relatives were and how many children you had. And I'm like, that is the legacy we celebrate in a person. They touched this many lives, not they provided this iPad or they bought a fancy Benz. This is how this person impacted life. And I was like, yo, it's crazy. Because you even brought me to this awareness when we were having the conversation. And you said to me, the way that you grew up, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like the whole neighborhood, we would all know each other. And if this person's child misbehaves, you reprimand them and you even engage their parents in reprimanding them, and the whole village knows. And even the way that we're stimulated, we were outside engaging with the environment, with nature, playing under trees.
We were bored.
Yes.
We were allowed to imagine.
We're allowed to imagine, and imagination creates reality, but it's like we have created humanity where the imagination, our access to God is dying down because we are not interacting with the creations of God.
Yeah.
And instead we're interacting with the creations of man-made technology that are creating robots in us and children who are having a deep dissonance with reality and nature.
Yeah.
And they are just zombies to the screen, and they cry for these screens and they spend hours in the screens. And they don't, and you said something to the effect to me where you're like, in the boredom of a child not having the stimulation of technology, and you're bored and you want to sit by yourself, which we didn't have when we were young, what would happen is you would now explore your internal dimensions because you're so bored. You're like, oh, why am I bored? Why do I think this way? Because there isn't anything to distract you from yourself. But now it's like we've just cultivated an environment of isolation and distraction, and it's breeding lower quality human beings. And then when they get into adult forms, you find that the youth are on drugs. You find
For that stimulation.
And you said that as well. Expand that point actually about how technology creates a stimulation in us of dopamine, and then we evolve naturally because the brain wants more.
Yeah.
So it then seeks more dopamine outside because it's reached the peak of...
It always reaches a peak.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
The dopamine will get to the point where it will reach a peak, and then you don't get that same rush or just that same satisfaction that you get from interacting with that. And if you do get access to the drugs, and now you activate that way of stimulating your brain, and then if you're so addicted to this dopamine rush, who knows how far you could go with the drugs? Because obviously, it will start somewhere, and if it goes unknowingly and you just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper, you just end up in a horrible state. I think we need to remember how important we are. I think we don't even, people don't view themselves that way. It's actually important. You matter. You have a space here on earth. You have something to do here. People depend on you. You're here to put an input, and we're waiting for your input. But if we all just focus on the careers and just focus on what sounds best or what looks the best, we're gonna lose that.
I love that. Your presence matters.
Yeah.
And it matters not because of your career and the millions that you have made or the accolades that you have received, but just inherently
Yeah.
the energy you bring into a space,
Yeah.
the unique signature that you carry, and the fact that you are important to the people that you are with. I think that's also important.
Yeah.
To say, like, it's not about, I think we sometimes when we focus on impact, it's always about impacting everybody else outside of your immediate circle, your friends, your family, your relatives, you know. And it's like, if every one of us just focused on myself and my immediate circle and my relatives, and just to know that if that's all you focused on in life, that's good enough.
Yeah.
Like, if nobody knows me in another country, if nobody knows me in another town, but my family knows me, and not knows me in the sense of my name, but knows me in the sense of my presence and my contribution to their lives, it's good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think also what I understood from what you said, where you said you matter, what came to my mind was that we have become a society where things matter. That we are now disinvesting, we're not investing in developing humanity.
Yeah.
We're investing in developing technology and getting the best cars, the best and fastest iPads, the most credible businesses. And our attention and intention is more invested in all of these things, that we forget to then realize that being a human being matters.
Yeah.
And a human being is the one that creates all of these things, and that we should more or even equally put more attention and intention in developing the human
Yeah.
machine and making sure that it's integrated. Yeah.
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 Powerful. Thanks
Yeah.
for healing me. I
Oh,
appreciate
thank you.
it. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I'm glad that I can do that.
I've learned a lot from
Yeah.
you today.
You've moved me.
Do you
Thank
have
you.
any final words or thoughts for us today?
Any final words of thought? I just would like for everybody to just, even if it's just for 5 minutes, just ask yourself, am I okay? Am I okay? Am I acting the way that I want to act? Are we going in the direction that we want to go? Do you even have a direction in your mind of where you're going? And yeah, like I said, just remember that you matter, and that's it.
My name is Shatani Samalakai.
And I am Belle Saabo Ame.
You've been watching
The Sapiosexual
Platter.